The Secret Service is facing question about how the gunman was able to get on that roof about 130 yards from where former President Trump was standing. President Biden is ordering an independent review. House Speaker Mike Johnson says Congress will investigate.
I think pretty clearly there was a security lapse at least, and we need to find out, for example, why were drones not used in the area? I've not gotten a satisfactory answer on that yet. We have more questions than we have answers, but Congress is going to get down to the bottom of this.
All right, CNN Chief Law Enforcement and Intelligence Analyst John Miller is with me now. And John, you've worked on many events like this where you went on the other side in law enforcement here. One of the questions is, why wasn't this guy shooter maybe on the radar beforehand?
Well, as far as he goes as an individual, and they're still digging into his social media and past, he is not on that list of people who are threatening the former president. He's not online making vitriolic statements that they've uncovered so far or calling for violence. He's just not on the radar. Now, the other thing that's really remarkable here is, in terms of planning, advanced planning, you know, how long was this in his mind? He's buying a box of 50 rounds of .223 rifle ammunition that afternoon, somewhere between 12 and 2 o'clock. He's in the gun store purchasing ammunition. So this doesn't sound like something that is something he'd been preparing for months. So that would be a challenge to him being on the radar.
Right. Bought the ammunition that afternoon, used it in the early evening. In terms of what else was found, the explosives in the car, the transmitter on the body, what questions does that raise for you?
So those are really interesting questions because they take the other side of that coin, which is in the trunk of the car, they find basically an ammunition can, and they see wires coming out of that to a receiver. So what they think they're looking at in the shooter's car, parked near the event, is a remote control device. At the house, they find a similar box in his bedroom, which they consider, since they've seen what's in the car, another potential device. But you have to ask, if it's got a receiver on it, and he had some kind of transmitter on him, I am told by sources, what was the purpose of having something that could cause an explosion in the car? And let's take a look at it. One version is, if he wanted to distract all the security personnel from his presence while he was trying to sneak up on a rooftop, he could have cranked off that device, caused everybody to focus on that car. Another possibility, which is really interesting, is he was seen at the magnetometers earlier. They had flagged him as acting squirrely around the magnetometers, and they had put that over the air of keep an eye on this guy. Was he looking to place a distraction device that would have drawn security to the noise of multiple explosions coming from some direction that would have taken their focus off of him? All of these are not answers. All of these are questions that are on the table about what was the purpose of that device. Did it have anything to do with this plot?
Then the question is, he's up here, the snipers are right here, Donald Trump is right here. What were the rules of engagement for the Secret Service and the local law enforcement snipers? And just so people have a sense of the timeline here, the shooter was spotted by a local police officer near magnetometers. You discussed that. They saw him on the roof. Supporters and police spot him on the roof. Then the shooter points the gun at a local law enforcement officer, hits Trump, and the shooter is killed by a sniper there. I'm going to put this map up again here. So again, what could they have done? Could they have acted more quickly?
So you've got the inner perimeter, that's the event. Secret Service is in charge of that. You've got the outer perimeter, which is a mix of Secret Service and local law enforcement. And then you have the third perimeter, which is mostly local law enforcement. So when they say we've got a guy on the roof with a rifle, people are alerting them. Now your clock starts at around a minute. An officer starts to go up that ladder to get on that roof and is confronted at gunpoint by the shooter, according to the accounts we got from the sheriff yesterday. And at that point, they're putting that over the air. That word gets that there's something going on over here with an individual on the rooftop to the sniper team. But a rooftop is like this. There's an upside and a downside. He starts on the downside of that roof. They don't see him until he pops up and that first shot is fired. Now, we've listened to the audio. There's about 1.5 seconds between the first shots and the multiple shots that they fire taking him out. This isn't the only counter sniper team. There's 4 set up on the ground. So This is, the rules of engagement would normally be, we have an individual on a rooftop, he has what looks like a rifle, they would call the detail leader and say, do we have a green light? The detail leader would make a judgment. This happened way too fast for any of that, and their reaction time was split second.
All right, there will be a lot of questions about this going forward. We still obviously need more information. John, great to have you here. Thank you very much.